Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ungainly Titan. And we're here on the Great Wall. I'm with the T-10, the Soviet Tier 9 heavy tank. And I've never been a huge fan of the Great Wall because I think the battles tend to play out the same way all the time. That is, the heavy tanks converge down at the southwestern corner. This is just regular standard battles, not the encounter battles. They tend to be a bit more varied. Whoever has the most medium and lights wins the other half of the map, or two-thirds of the map. Then go into the cap circle, and whoever survives the fight, if the opposite team, should we say, survives or wins the fight down the southwestern corner, they've got to trundle back to their own cap circle to reset the cap. And sometimes they don't. That's just the way people play World of Tanks. Just before I actually started recording this, I decided to look up the Wikipedia entry for the Great Wall, and there's a fascinating statistics really about the Great Wall. So it says that there are 8,850 kilometres of works of wall, about 6,259 kilometres of actual wall. The rest is outworks and trenches and what have you. And that the total number of sort of mounted walls built from archaeological studies is 21,196 kilometres of the various dynasties of the Chinese Empire. That is a lot of wall. And yeah, we're at the top of the thing here. This is one of the key points to contest in this map. Just come back from the Great Wall for a moment, because this place overlooks the encounter cap circle and the village. So generally getting through the village or progressing through the village is usually, well, it's impossible if really this place is held by the enemy team, because you can shoot into the village from where we have a tank destroyer there just south of the village. That's a pretty good location for tank destroyers, and up here is a very good location for tanks to shoot down into the village. Normally I wouldn't come up here with a heavy tank, because especially a Soviet heavy tank, because of the lack of gun depression and the amount of time it takes to get up here. But I just thought, in the encounter mode, this was too important a place to ignore. And I think that T-54 just lost the red team the game just now. I managed to put a shot into him. This made him a one-shot kill. The T-10 it's a suicide run. He ran down to the bottom of the map. He wasn't going to survive, but he pulled everyone down with him. And the thing is that the T-54 was the important one, because I think the T-54 could probably have beaten me from the location he was in. He was shooting up into my lower front plate, and he probably could have beaten me, whereas I would be shooting against his frontal armour is pretty strong, and it's well sloped. Now I might get shots into the turret top, but by the time I've gotten down here, both the Emil and the T-54 are one-shots, and with the addition of the support from the AMX, we're just able to deal with them really easily. This guy goes for the typical light tank circling, but he's doing it uphill, and he's trying to take advantage of the fact that supposed the AMX is a reload cycle to take me out, but it's easier said than done. So Conqueror has been spotted in the enemy spawn area, and for the lack of reaction to incoming fire, I reckon that Conqueror is AFK. I also reckon that I was effectively out of the fight. All the remaining enemy tanks are down in the south. Okay, I'm going to get a shot into the subject 705. But I thought pretty much that Conqueror would be up here on his own, probably with the artillery, and that I might as well farm damage off him if I can. So I get the last remaining point of damage off him, and I decide I'm going this way because the artillery's up here somewhere, isn't he? And there's enough people on the rest of the team to take care of the enemy tanks. They probably would have dealt with him before I get down and be in a position to engage in the remaining enemy tanks. Having actually played the game and watched the video a couple of times, I can now say that don't rely on me for next week's lotto numbers. I am not a very good prophet, so there's no sign of the artillery yet. So yeah, I'll be just thinking about the Great Wall from the images here on this map. Now, I've seen pictures of the Great Wall, and the towers are farther apart in parts of it, but it looks like around here the towers are roughly one every 100 meters or so. And I'm thinking to myself, you probably need a dozen archers or a dozen guys in those towers to keep the base of the wall clear. for a kind of a minimal garrison. So I'm just thinking, 6,000 kilometers of wall, 10 towers per kilometer, that's 60,000 towers. Say 10 archers per tower, that's 600,000 men. So you probably need the bones of 1 million men to garrison that wall. That's a lot of soldiers. And I'm not sure it's the most efficient use of soldiers either. I mean, if you can raise and field and feed an army of 1 million men, now admittedly you're feeding them stretched out over 6,000 kilometres of ground, which is a lot easier than feeding 1 million blokes in the one spot. But if you can raise armies of that size and pay for them, it might be much more efficient to turn up at the likely site of an incursion, shall we say, with 60 or 100,000 men, rather than having 1 million guys stretched out across this massive frontier. Still, I suppose there must have been a lot of people in ancient China, because they certainly didn't seem to lack for labour. I would say that the principal problem in doing something similar in Europe would have been lack of manpower to actually build the damn thing in the first place. Now, why did I come up the hill here? Well, I came up the hill here because the light tank had reached the spawn point without finding the artillery, and I wasn't going to catch up, and I reckon I was quicker, and I'd have a better chance of intercepting the cap if our guys lost. And I thought at this point there was a good chance that our guys would lose, and that I would have to be the one to reset the cap, and that I'd be more likely to get into position to reset the cap from up here than I would have by going around the long way. The trouble is, I didn't pick the right spot to reset the cap from up here. I probably should have gone right rather than left around that rock. I come over the cliff the first time and I reset, well, the cap, and then I overdrive it and nearly lose the tank. However, I did survive the fall, at the cost of most of my health pool. I had about 580, so I lost about 300 health or something like that coming down that cliff. We got a round into the 705. We're going to get another round into the 705 before the Yak Tiger gets into a position to shoot back. He snaps off his shot, but is well wide. I thought about coming around again, but then I said no, that gun is pointing in my direction, and I would have had to aim properly. The gun was defaulted to the upper front places of the Yak Tiger. There was no way I was getting a shot in through that. Fortunately, he had to come around the side of the building. He was trying to get the building between himself and the light tanks, and he presented the side of the tank to me, so I was able to take him out easily enough at the end, and took him out for a top gun. So, just shy of 5k damage. Top gun, high caliber, ace tanker. Cannot but be pleased with that result, despite my moaning about the rather indifferent games that I've been having at tier 9. That was definitely the highlight of the grind so far. So the T10, yes, I like the T10. I still like the T10. I think I can do quite well on the T10. Though having Elite of the Conqueror, I'm now focusing on the Object 257 because that's the one with the next most experience, and it plays very similarly to the T10. Though I think a lot of people are playing it at the moment, and probably a lot of really good players are playing it at the moment, because I've had some very high damage games in it, and nothing close to an ace tanker in it, so I suspect that the ace tanker requirements on it are quite high at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a like and a share. Feel free to comment, and if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.